No. The old premature credits gag. But yeah, giving up alcohol for a year, it didn't make me a better writer.
I'm shocked.
That's the short version. The more complex version is that it did make my writing better, but it did make my life more boring. And that might have been a good thing.
I am the liquor.
So last year, I had the thought that maybe I was imbibing a bit too much.
I think I'll do a wraparound.
Now, for context, I've always enjoyed the sauce. You know, you grow up watching your Hank Moody's, you read your Bukowskis, you listen to your Flavor Flavs.
Flavor Flav!
By God, don't you want to be just like those guys?
Right you are, motherfucker!
I mean, sure, you don't have their money, or their fame, or their creative accomplishments, or scores of women throwing themselves at you, but, hey, we all like to drink.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
Now, some folks are happy drunks, some folks are sad drunks, some people get angry, some people wake up in a frozen field dressed as Ash from Evil Dead. You know, hits everybody differently. But for me, I'm a naturally pessimistic person. So the D20 in my brain, it tends to land on reasons why something won't work. You know, why they're not worth doing. For example, if I had thought of the Snuggie or Nudicles back in the 2000s, I would have thought, God, that's fucking stupid and not worth pursuing. Enter the booze, where my relationship is twofold. Firstly, it tends to give me hope. You know, just the right amount of delusion to be productive. So, sober, I might be sitting there thinking, why the hell am I writing a movie about a killer Chiweenie? Nobody is going to watch this. I don't have the budget for it. There's no way I'm going to get the dog to act the way I need it to. Plus, my camera isn't good enough, etc. Whereas drunk me would be up all night writing the script, giggling maniacally as he did so, and thinking, hey, this killer Chiweenie movie, this could really be something. And even if it isn't, you know, it's something I want to see. The second thing that alcohol does for me, it replicates the first time. A nostalgia enhancer, if you will. So if you were to ask me right now, hey, do you want to watch Casino? I would say, no thanks. I love that movie, but I've seen it 30 times and I don't know, I'd rather go to the gym, I'd rather read a book, I'd rather play a Warhammer video game.
Where's your fucking balls?
But if I'm drunk, bring on 31, baby. And I will watch it like it's the first time. And all the moments I love, they're gonna hit harder. And the soundtrack will caress my ears more sensually. And James Woods will be just that little bit more sleazy. Now, I didn't consider myself an alcoholic because I still showed up for work. I usually wouldn't start drinking until 10 p.m. I still went to the gym. Didn't beat my girlfriend. High bars. But still, I didn't like the way that I couldn't stop at just one. You know, I had to keep it going. And even if I didn't drink as much as other people I knew, like financially, physically, mentally, it was taking a toll. It was too long of a run. So I decided to take a year off. The first month was rough. You know, like a guy at the bar at 2 a.m., things that had never allured me before were suddenly calling me in like a shining light to a frisky moth.
Don't deprive yourself of some pleasure.
After that first month, though, things got easier. Although occasionally, temptation would show up in unexpected places.
Surprise, motherfucker!
But I persevered, reassured in my faith that amazing things were bound to happen if I just stuck with it.
I am the liquor.
I would lose 30 pounds and have a glorious six-pack. Yeah, that didn't happen. I would wake up every day feeling motivated and energetic and ready to tackle the day. Also didn't happen. I would save a shit ton of money. Almost happened. Kinda happened. In the first few months, I overcompensated and I spent a lot more money on good food and good coffee.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
That's the honest truth. opposed to the dishonest truth. That's a stupid fucking saying. I'm a bit disappointed. You know, reading online, people who quit drinking, whether it was for a year or permanently, they all talked about it like it was this life-altering experience. Like people who become vegan or carnivore, and then it, not only does it cure their diabetes, but it makes it that their mom is suddenly proud of them and their dead brother comes back to life. And I didn't get any of that. And honestly, when I go back to drinking, I don't expect my life to change that much either. But I did learn one thing. It's good to be bored. After years of writing screenplays, this year, I wrote a book. It's about pirates fighting zombies. You know, real relatable Dickensian shit. And writing it was kind of fun, some days more than others. Editing it was not fun at all. But you know what's a lot more fun than both of those activities? Sipping whiskey and playing your 4,000th hour of Smash Brothers. The good one, not this new shit the kids are into.
Show me your moves.
But when you take away the drug that your brain has been using to color your pastimes, suddenly everything gets grayed out. You know, video games weren't as fun as they used to be. Nothing was. My brain had been riding a roller coaster every night for years, and now it was time for 365 days of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Beware. But turns out that's a pretty good ride. I just had to come back down to see it. Took me almost 3 months to get there, but being bored made me appreciate all of the minor joys in my life that had been overshadowed by dopamine. And writing was one of those joys. That feeling you get when you type out a great piece of dialogue, or a character's actions surprise you, or you find a way to connect two things that you couldn't figure out. It reminds me of one of my favorite lines from High Fidelity.
It sounds boring, but it wasn't. It wasn't spectacular either. It was just good. But really good.
I am the liquor.
So when I was drinking, I was writing less often, but when inspiration hit, it hit with a vengeance, and I would go for hours and I'd come up with all these great creative ideas and moments, whereas sober writing was all discipline. I'm bored, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to anyway. And similar to the gym, once I get going, it's actually kind of fun. In both cases, stories were told. But which one produced the better product?
Well, we're waiting.
Sober writing resulted in the most good. Drunk writing resulted in sporadic greatness. Writing drunk was like playing darts, where 10% of your throws are dead center bullseyes and the other 90% go straight into your foot. Sober writing, you know, the darts would go all over the board, but they would stay on the board. For entertainment purposes, here are some of my worst drunk writing examples. These are unedited. Please don't judge me. Examples aside, usually in the sober light of day, I could clean it up into something acceptable. Or when I write sober, it would just be acceptable from the beginning. Same result, different methods. And then a peculiar thing happened. This year, because I wrote acceptable things more often, over time, my writing got better. Not a lot, but a little. It's analogy time. Bear with me. Imagine that you like to go to the gym drunk. For some of us, this won't be a difficult exercise. Now, when you've got a buzz going, you can bench a sweet 225 with all the ease of picking up a horny girl at the bar who grew up in a strict Catholic household. Suddenly, after you stop drinking, all you can whip out is a measly 135. No Catholic girls for you, buddy. only their laughter, as you grunt and struggle and maybe do half reps and chest bounces.
You can't bench press your way out of this one.
But, as it turns out, now that you're not drinking, you end up going to the gym more often. And though you're weak now, at the end of the year, you're benching over 300 with perfect form, and even the Mormon chicks are salivating at your impressive perfection. I am nowhere near perfection. At least when it comes to writing. I'm very far from that destination, and I will never reach it. But at least now I can say that I'm taking steps in its direction. I'm walking away from stagnation. Although, to be fair, if someone was getting wasted every night, but they were still being consistent with the work, they would be taking steps in that direction as well. Albeit, stumbly ones.
I am the liquor.
Abstaining from alcohol did not make me a better writer. Abstaining from alcohol made me bored. Boredom made activities I was struggling to do easier to start. In science, that's what we call a catalyst. You see, a catalyst isn't really part of a chemical reaction, it simply lowers its activation energy. For example, the uncatalyzed hydrolysis of urea is very slow, but thanks to urease... Nerd! Different life. Pops up every now and again. Since sitting down to write was slightly less hard, I did it more consistently. Consistency made me a better writer. Not drinking alcohol made it easier for me to be consistent. In conclusion, taking a week or a month or a year off alcohol, it didn't turn out to be the miracle cure that I hoped it would be. Turns out you still have to do the work. Another thing taking a year off alcohol didn't do was give me the creative writing abilities to figure out how to end this video. So, thanks for watching, and here's a clip of Nick Cage.